Hi everyone, it's Graham at Dent Detail. This video repair is on a Tesla Model 3 quarter panel on the charge port side. As you can see there, it's quite a bit of nasty damage to get through. It's bowed in the edge towards the bottom where it sits up against the bumper. A couple of large ripples here and there, one further along. A lot of areas which need straightening out quite well. This job is going to the body shop after I took out everything I can do. Did some paintwork damage on the bumper, so he's gonna go into the quarter panel after that. So this damage was caused, it was a hit and run. He was in a car park, came back to his car, Sentry caught it, and yeah, he's got this to deal with, so we're gonna see what we can do. So to get this repair started, we're gonna use the pull tower from Keco. It's a suction plate, so the big silver base you can see there. We'll attach this to the air compressor, which goes on the top for the connector you can see. So when the compressor's on, it's sucking down to the floor through the pressure, so it won't move. You can stand on that, try and push it, pull it, won't go absolutely anywhere, which is what we want to try and pull the bottom edge of the quarter panel out. When we're doing big repairs, it's key to where we're starting the actual repair itself, because the edge is bowed in. That's where all the pressure is, all the tension is, so we want to get that moving out. Once the pressure and tension is taken off that, it will allow the rest of the panel to move out. Some of those big ripples, we can try and knock them down now, but they're just not going to go anywhere. It needs pulling out towards the bottom, and the crowns and ripples knocking down at the same time. So as usual, this is going to be a full glue pull repair. We're going to start off with a big tab along the bottom, a flexible centipede tab. So that's going to sort of contour with the depth of the dent in there, sticking it right along the bottom. So once that's set, we'll put some tension on it through the pulling tower and get moving. So if you watch closely in a second, the pull tower's all set up. We're slowly winding out the chain on it, so if you watch the reflections there, you'll see them move. So that's carefully winding out the tension on the tower. That's enough movement we need. So now we know it's pulled out. You can see how straight the neck of the tab is to along the chain. We know that there's tension on there, so we can start knocking down some of the ripples. That'll help the metal flow back to the main dented area, which is towards that bottom edge. From my view there, looking at it through the fog board, we can see lots of different ripples and different crowns here and there. As far back as that, even though the dent was right down in that corner, it can ripple all over the place basically. So we've got to make sure we get all that excess metal that's been dispersed everywhere else to knock it down and send it back to where it needs to be. Here's a good view smoothing out some of those ripples and crowns with a knockdown. The tip on that is quite broad, it's a leather tip, so it's really forgiving. It's not going to put any sharp pits or marks anywhere because it's broad. It's going to take down quite a lot of crown ripple without causing too much other damage that we don't need to tidy up later on. So while the main damage is still under tension, we're going to work on some of the smaller areas around it. We can do is we can leave that bigger tab on there for as long as we need to, really. Once we've took out some of the deeper sections, like this little bit down towards the bottom, we'll release the tension on the bigger tab later on. But while it's still doing its job, we may as well keep on taking out all these extra little bits. Every so often I'll throw a bit of heat from the heat gun towards the glue tab that's already on there just to keep it active. I mean, it will stay active for quite a while, 10 minutes or so. while it's under tension. Because it's getting cold now, we want to make sure the temperature's where it needs to be, around 27 degrees. When we're doing some of these smaller pulls, like you can see the smaller tablets on there now, we'll just heat that up to around 35, 40, let it settle to around 27 and pull it at that temperature. You can see the lines reflecting on the panel there, how they're getting straighter. That shows that the panel is straightening out where it needs to go. That'll clear up more through the repair as it goes. Using a robo lifter here to gently pull that tab out. We don't want to snap this because the panel is quite soft and flexible around here. Despite being loads of bracing on the inside of where the charge port is, it still moves really nicely. We don't need to do any snapping in the softer areas. We was using a slide hammer on the tab that was towards the bottom earlier, just because the area is a bit more stubborn there. Any dents that are near panel edges, metal is a lot tougher than it is towards the centre. There's more flex there, so we just take it easy on these softer areas for now. Here we've got a robo lifter with the crease feet on it. These feet are a lot broader than they were on the feet we had on previously. This stops the metal flexing a lot more, again like we mentioned, because this panel is quite soft and flexible in this area. We don't want to sort of pull too hard on the puller and then the feet dig into the panel, because that can create more work for us later on, especially when it is as soft as it is. From there on, we're just picking out sections here and there that need a bit more tweaking. A harder tab towards the bottom, a softer tab at the top there. As explained, it's softer at the top, a bit more stubborn towards the bottom. And then going into some finer blending hammer work here, just trying to get as much out as possible so there's less work to do for the paint shop later on after this. I mean, this repair took probably around, say, 4 or 5 hours from start to finish. And we could have probably gone a bit further with it, but we didn't need to, because, say, it is getting painted afterwards. So at that point, when it's a pull to paint, we don't need to get every little blemish out, which is what the customers asked for. So we just asked to straighten out as much as possible, so there's as less filler as possible, especially being on the charge port side. If it was going to be pimpled at a body shop, the car needs powering down. Glue pulling it off from the outside completely saves that. So here's the result after about 5 hours work. As you can see, that bumper edge and the quarter panel edge there lining up really nicely. This was the main ask for the customer, to get us to save as much body work as possible, get that lined up, and then take out as much of the dent work after that. And we've done a really good job of that. Customers made up with it. Really happy with the outcome. There's a few imperfections here, being on a solid black. For damage as bad as that, we told him there could be a few bits, but he wasn't bothered because he's going for paintwork after this. So main objective was achieved there. Checking it through reflections, it's come out really nicely. He was made up like we say, and turned out to be a pretty nice job in the end. A lot of time in it, but definitely worth it. So thanks for watching.